Good afternoon, good evening. So let's see how far this vision takes us. I want to get people's understanding of what their creative identity means to them, how they define their creative identity, and if they separate it from their personal identity.
In a movie already?
Why would Coke manufactured by natural?
Oi!
Ça va bien? Ça c'est Gabe. Filming as well. So we go.
Now it's recording.
Creatively, I do mostly graphics. And what I like to say is like I do visuals, because I don't do like only graphic design or only video, only photo, because I mix all the skills I have and like put them together.
I am a 2D, 3D, Photoshop, graphic designer, multimedia artist, I'd say. I'm a photographer based in Montreal.
Best.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a DJ, rave organizer, and I recently started producing music.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
J'ai commencé à danser il y a maintenant 10 ans, ça fait maintenant 10 ans que je danse. So I used to do busking, like in downtown, just putting my music and everything with my speaker and just dance, and people would just give me money like that. So that's how it started.
I found like a film camera at Valley Village, and it was like it was meant for me. I studied 2D, 3D animation at a art school called Rubica. I didn't want to go to like a normal famous school because I thought it was not gonna like be artistic enough. Turns out that my school was very how to say that?
Bland.
Yeah, like fitted to be a sheep in the industry, and with my friends we went against that.
I got my lip.
To me, I feel like it's a very like political way of like seeing the world. It's like music is about, you know, I mean, at least like the style I DJ or would like to produce is like music that, you know, really makes you, you know, forget your problems or whatever. I know it's very cliche, but it's like, it's a way, I think, for me to like, to help people, you know, get out of their day-to-day life where they have to, you know, go to work, consume or whatever in this like capitalist world that we live in. That's my main inspiration behind music, is like creating this space, like either as a DJ or like rave organizer, where people can really, you know, let themselves go. And also like, you know, doing a master's in like environmental engineering, I feel like there's also something political there. And yeah, I feel like it
links.
Yeah, it links up.
I make this art to like get myself out of this stage, and like there's like a lot of like there's like this new thing I've been doing a lot, and it's like get me out of this never-ending nightmare, and it's like I can't escape it, and I'm like trying by all means to get out of this state, and I like create, I like will do everything self-care wise to like feel better, but it's just like it doesn't work, and so I will put it to art, and like then like people relate a little bit, there's like I get some feedback, it makes me feel a bit better, but it's not helping me escape from like those feelings that I feel like imprisoned by. It's like I'm doing this as like self-care kind of, and then it's like nah, it's not helping.
Je dirais c'est la plus grande expression de self-love.
Fleuve, c'est quoi fleuve?
Self-love. De l'amour propre, genre si t'aimes tes shit, c'est de l'amour propre. Ça n'a pas besoin d'être toxique, ça n'a pas besoin d'être néfaste and everything.
Like I don't think I'd be satisfied if it wasn't for a level of like recognition, or not recognition, but like the feeling of being understood, right? I think is big, and it's obviously extremely hard for you to feel understood in everything that you do. But like I have this feel, I'm like I need to be understood, like what I go through, like the reason I spend so much time in my head, bro, and like anxious, like thinking about so many different scenarios, it's for a fucking reason. At least I like to think that way.
Je pense que tous les gens qui sont créatifs pensent comme ça, ils veulent être compris.
Exactly, the feeling of being understood and being human. Most people are looking for that, you know? And like sometimes I'll be looking at Instagram or Pinterest and I see something like, oh, the person that took that picture or like wrote that song or
You understand.
wrote that poem. I'm like, I understand what you mean, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to make people feel as well.
Yeah,
like,
relatable art.
Like relatable shit.
Yeah.
Like exactly. For me, it's like all those little things right now that a lot of people I know don't get it. But the people that get it, that's the people that I become real friends with. And it's not even about like them, me trying to be cool for them. I'm just like, yo, maybe we can be friends around this shit. I'm trying to enjoy life and enjoy it with the most people I can.
No way!
How can I say this? My work became like so important to me, and I wanted my work to reflect how I am as a person, just like a hardworking, like really meticulous and stuff like that. And it became kind of toxic at some point because I didn't want to show anything to anybody unless it was perfect. And I feel like at some point I closed myself off a little bit because I felt like my work and my identity was like becoming like so much one-to-one, you know.
What?
And at first I wanted like people to see me as a photographer, and I felt like for a while like people didn't see me as a photographer, didn't like when they would see my work they were like questioning me like, oh, did you actually do this, like are you the one that edited this, like if I wasn't like, I don't know, like they were questioning like as if like I wasn't good enough to do this.
Je dirais que le truc le plus stressant de ma vie, ça a été la danse.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Right. I think the most stressful moments I have lived through have been somewhat self-imposed through music as well. That's it. And it's a weird thing.
Parce que c'est censé être quelque chose que t'aimes and everything, mais je pense que tu donnes tellement d'importance à ce truc,
Right.
genre, à cette envie, à ce rêve, à cette idée, que ça t'empêche d'avancer des fois.
Right.
Ça a été l'un de mes plus grands problèmes. Où est-ce que je m'empêchais à un moment je pensais que j'étais pas assez bon, où j'avais des doutes, puis c'est ça qui m'empêchait d'avancer. Alors que c'est vraiment juste un bloc mental, genre c'est un mur mental.
It's 24 hours a day I'm thinking about photography and like my next project, or like how like I'm gonna edit this, or like stuff like that, or even how I'm just gonna continue projecting myself as a photographer. I think where my problems like lays the most is with how people see me like on social media.
I think kids our age and are filled with so many like expectations, you know, and we were talking about how people judge or value themselves so much based on like outcomes rather than processes. Right?
Well, en fait, the biggest currency now is social media. Si t'es cool, les gens vont t'aimer, tu auras beaucoup de followers. Et ça veut pas dire que qu'est-ce que tu fais est wack, hein, si t'as pas beaucoup de followers and everything. Ça veut juste dire que t'es pas encore t'as pas été encore mis de l'avant. Mais, c'est comme tu dis que les gens ils préfèrent le outcome que le process. C'est parce que maintenant, on s'en fout un peu de où est-ce que t'as fait. On veut juste avoir le résultat, c'est là que ça se passe là. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Done, you know what I mean?
I felt like I just wanted to be myself on social media and stuff like that, but I felt like if I was posting a picture of myself or like my outfit, then people were not gonna take me as seriously, or just like.
Yeah, we talked to Calvin because we talked to Calvin a lot about it. And he gave like super, like a holistic approach to like.
Yo, bro, I'm literally a little dot, like not even a dot, bro.
Take away important.
You're nothing on the scale of the universe. Like, just look at the size of your country.
Right.
Who are you in this country?
Right.
You're nobody, bro. Even like the biggest guy in the country is like maybe like a president or some shit. It doesn't really matter. You zoom again, it's fucking continent. You're nobody on the continent. Zoom again on the planet, you're even less than nobody. And then you zoom out, and the planet is nothing in itself. You know, for me, it's not that I don't want to feel those things or whatever. It's just like my coping mechanisms of terms of like how to dodge like depression and all that shit. My brain and my body just like numbs shit, and I'm like,
Shift
this is not real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not that it's not real, but like it doesn't matter. And I was super mad at the world for everything that we do, like wars, people being done for every type of reason, school, like the society as a whole, like capitalism. Like as a kid, like when I was 12 and shit, and I was like, people are so like shit, you know? And then I realized, no, bro, it's not their fault. Like, they're part of the society that has like those flaws and shit, and people have flaws. And it's part of them, and you have to understand that they're not trying to be and
Right,
like
they're in the
assholes.
system like all of us. Bro.
They've been raised by assholes in
Right.
a asshole society and shit, and it happens to create those situations.
Oh shit. Merci. Hi! No, not enough. You already gave us the whole big bag. You still haven't.
What do you got today?
The same thing, bro. The same classic sample. Ay, qué rico. Ay, qué rico.
C'est la vie qui te forme, c'est pas vraiment ton art.
Right. That's
C'est même la vie qui forme ton art.
right.
Everything. Tout ce qui est les bons moments de ta vie, les mauvais moments de ta vie, ça change tout. Man. Puis au départ, je pensais aussi que la danse était vraiment le centre, parce que j'avais un rêve immense, mais en fait, si tu mets les relations que tu as avec ta famille, les relations que tu as avec tes amis and everything, ton travail ou tout, c'est juste un tout.
Right.
Tu peux pas vraiment les séparer.
Right.
C'est impossible. Je trouve que c'est impossible de les séparer. Et c'est là que tu dois faire la cassure. Tu peux pas juste dire ouais, this is the most important thing in my life and everything.
Right.
Je trouve que c'est impossible.
Yeah.
I think there's a common thing in artists that you have to have something felt, and like it has to come from suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like your art has to come out from something like suffering, or that you felt like big emotion from, or something like that. And I feel like a part, like my new process now, because now I'm like trying to detach myself more, is just like having more fun with it, and like just starting from like the smallest thing ever, like could start an inspiration. It's just I have a very like black and white perception of life, so like it's always explosive in either way, like because I feel explosiveness in my mind at all times. But yeah, like
No.
so like I feel like I see what you mean, but I don't really
Right. Relate.
Relate.
That's totally fine.
like I like for me it's always like out of like an explosion of a feeling, or like for instance I'm not feeling confident, so I'm gonna make like this post where I'm like extremely sexy and I feel super confident. It's about me being so confident and like how cool, look at this cool person. Nah, I was not feeling that good. I was like stood out by all my friends. I was like feeling like shit, so I just made this like make myself
Right.
feel
So I
better.
feel like the way you express your art the best is through like in a way extremities.
yeah,
right?
yeah. For me, yeah.
It's all about seeing creativity in people that don't look creative usually. You know what I mean? And for me, that's one of the most beautiful things. You walk down the street and you see like a grandma that has like somewhat of a fit on that's like looks good to me, like my eyes. I look at her and like I'm like, yo, that face is crazy. I go up to her and like, yo, can I take a picture of you because like you look great. And then she's like, oh, thank you. Like, and then you start talking and like you learn about her life, and like she ends up like she's like that fucking baker that's like she has 15 restaurants, like, you know, like
They're
people
often they're the most cool. Like those are the coolest people in my eyes. People that don't have like that do things unintentionally.
And exactly, and you have to look around and see those little things in people to see that they all have their creative sides and shit. And I feel like humans, that's what we do. We just live to create stuff, but we don't realize all the time. And I feel like that's when life becomes sad, when you're just sitting down and not creating anything.
It's a musty ass room. I think what's nice about Montreal is that there's this will to do alternative and underground things. Like what makes Montreal is its people, and like the cool people that it attracts, and you know the artists, the queer people, the people of color and everything. Like everyone comes to Montreal because they know it's accepting compared to like other places, and I feel like that's what makes me want to like keep doing these things here rather than anywhere else, because I don't see myself getting a community as good as the one I have here like anywhere else. No, I would say start with friends, and then you know do events with friends, and then it'll naturally get bigger if what you're doing is like if there's something a little bit unique in what you're doing, and there's something a little bit, you know, that people will just basically enjoy, you can naturally build a community if you're doing something creative. I don't think it's too. I don't see it as something too hard.
Okay. I just want to have more control over my fucking emotions, bro, and be able to like put that on something and make that my livelihood instead of it being like I want to be a musician for the sake of like, you know, being on tour.
Okay.
Control, I guess. I want to have like control over the way I express myself, or I want to be able to do it as precisely as I want to.
Okay.
You know.
Quand je dis be obsessed, tu mets tellement de travail dessus que t'as pas de choix de. Et t'as pas le choix de pas réussir, genre. Ça t'en vouloir si tu réussis pas. Comme les moments où est-ce que tu trouves que tu traînes, genre, où est-ce que tu es distrait, là, où est-ce que tu fous rien, là. T'as pas besoin de ces moments-là. Just do something.
Right.
You know? Parce que je te dis, c'est l'un des plus grands regrets, man. Que tu vas dire, yo, je n'ai pas fait assez.
Right.
Alors,
Oh, dude, I'm terrified of that. And I tell myself that.
So moi, je le dis à chaque jour.
Yeah.
Man.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I tell myself. So, all right. Thank you, brother.
Yes.
Appreciate you. That was nice. That was words of wisdom.
Je pense que j'étais vraiment stressée pendant. Ça me stressait tellement de voir comme qu'est-ce que je faisais, puis genre de me comparer tout ça, genre à d'autres gens comme dans l'industrie, and realizing that genre I'm 21.
Yeah, the world is so big.
World is so big.
Do you want to share any last thoughts in particular? I asked this everyone. No one really says anything. It's a really open-ended question.
If you're thinking of dropping school, do it.
No! I stayed in school. I made my parents proud. And now look at me. How many times I have walked down this same fucking street? A million.